Do you remember the first time you got your hands on a Game Boy or a Nintendo DS? The handheld consoles defined an era in gaming history. They were the gateway to the gaming world for millions, offering accessible, practical, and often revolutionary experiences. Devices like the Game Boy, Nintendo DS, 3DS, and PSP captured the hearts of gamers worldwide with their innovations and memorable libraries of games. But in recent years, we've seen a dramatic shift. Today, the giants of the industry seem to have completely abandoned the idea of a dedicated pocket-size, handheld console, leaving a giant and open space for Chinese retro handheld companies shine. What happened to this once essential market segment? Has it been replaced? Or is it merely transforming? Let's explore this question. 1. It all started in 1989 with the launch of the Game Boy by Nintendo. It was a revolution, combining portability, affordability, and long battery life. Games like Tetris, Pokemon Red and Blue, and The Legend of Zelda: Link's Awakening defined a generation and cemented Nintendo as the leader in this segment for years. If you were born at that time, you probably have memories and nostalgia about playing it, if you had enough money, or enjoy through a friend's console. I even have a memory from the time when the first GBA was released, and a Portuguese kid went to my school with the famous indigo purple GBA and a copy of Harry Potter and the Philosopher's Stone. It was a magic moment for me since I never ever had seen a portable handheld before that. This was what molded my passion for GBA games until this day, a nostalgic feeling of something I didn't had. In the 2000s, two giants entered the scene, the Nintendo DS and Sony's PSP. The DS, with its dual screens and innovative gameplay through touchscreen with Nintendo's Brain Age and the classic Pokemon. Meanwhile, the PSP delivered graphics that rivaled home consoles, along with epic games like God of War, Chains of Olympus, and Final Fantasy Crisis Core. It was also a true multimedia device, capable of playing movies, music, and PlayStation 1 games. At that time, handheld consoles weren't just complements to home consoles. They were indispensable platforms in their own right. The sales numbers prove it. The DS surpassed 154 million units, while the PSP sold around 80 million. These figures reflect a golden age for handheld gaming. 2. The gradual decline. The early 2010s brought the rise of smartphones as gaming devices. Titles like Angry Birds, Candy Crush, and Clash of Clans became global phenomena, completely changing the perception of mobile gaming. Why buy a handheld console when your phone already provides access to thousands of free games? That was the question many consumers began asking. As a result, handheld sales began to decline. The PS Vita, launched by Sony in 2011, is a clear example of this transition. Despite being technically superior to the Nintendo 3DS in terms of graphics and hardware, it failed to compete with the growing ecosystem of mobile games. A lack of support from major studios and the high cost of proprietary memory cards sealed its fate. Meanwhile, the Nintendo 3DS achieved moderate success but fell far short of the DS's numbers. It was the last major dedicated handheld console before the market changed completely. 3. The cost of developing handheld games. One of the great strengths of handhelds has always been the reduced cost of development. While games for home consoles required larger teams, cutting-edge graphics, and multi-million-dollar marketing campaigns, handhelds offered a more affordable alternative for developers. Titles like Pokemon, Animal Crossing, and Persona 4 Golden are examples of games that reached millions of players with comparatively modest budgets. This allowed for more experimentation and a greater variety of genres. It's not a surprise how retro gaming handhelds are a tremendous success since they have a giant library from this golden era since you search with the Caribbean pirates. Today, however, modern games for the PS5 and Xbox Series X can easily exceed $100 million in production costs, while games for handhelds like the Nintendo DS and PSP were developed at a fraction of that price to make much more sales. The same phenomenon happened with indie games these days. This increase in costs has made the market more competitive and less accessible to new studios. 4. Exclusive portable games and indies. As the budget for AAA games increase every year, and we also have reached the famous quadruple A budget with Skull and Bones and also Conquered. Making smaller games with the focus on being fun without huge worlds and graphics, looks to be a way that the giant companies could explore. A lot of people talk and recommend the incredible Pokemon hack ROM called Pokemon Unbound, where it feels like a complete new game and please the gamers even in this super graphics era. Indies like Balatro also shown that games can be fun and simple at the same time. With all the rumors about new handhelds from Sony and Microsoft, they will probably go as the Switch way, with a huge size device to play the same games of the consoles, ignoring completely the fact people still buy GBAs, 3DSs, PSPs, and a lot of retro Chinese devices because of the pocketable size. They don't think about games that does not need a bazillion-dollar budget to make like in the portable era. A new console from Nintendo, for example, having the GBA size, a good screen, and focusing more on proprietary indies, pixel art, and 2D games to be a complement for the next Switch would be perfect in terms of low cost to produce the games, and the fun we already have, like playing Pokemon ROM hack games or ports. Imagine a new 2D Pokemon game made by Game Freak, with a bigger lore, more features, and possibly a connection with Switch. Shut up and take my money meme. Well, that's probably will not happen, but I have had this idea when I saw Balatro running in a tiny portable handheld with an incredible quality screen. The new Trim UI brick. The Nintendo Switch and its limitations. When the Nintendo Switch launched in 2017, it seemed like the perfect solution. A hybrid console that combined the best of handheld and home console gaming. Its success has been undeniable, with over 146 million units sold to date. Games like Mario Kart 8 Deluxe, The Legend of Zelda, Breath of the Wild, Animal Crossing, New Horizons, and the possibility to play The Witcher 3 in portable mode made history. However, the Switch has some limitations as a handheld console. It's large, doesn't fit in a pocket, can be cumbersome to carry around for long periods, and it's not that ergonomically to hold without a grip. Additionally, its fragility and issues with Joy-Con drift raised concerns about its durability for on-the-go gaming. While it's a landmark device, the Switch left a gap for those seeking a truly portable and affordable handheld, something the Chinese retro console market quickly capitalized on. 6. The rise of Chinese retro handhelds. In recent years, retro handheld devices, primarily manufactured by Chinese companies like Ambernic, Miyu, Retroid, and others, have become a hit among nostalgic gamers. These consoles offer something the mainstream market doesn't. Easy and pocketable access to thousands of classic games from platforms like NES, SNES, PS1, Game Boy, and even Dreamcast. Additionally, their cost-effectiveness is a major draw. While a Steam Deck can cost between $400 and $600, these retro devices are typically priced between $40 and $150, making them accessible to a wide range of consumers around the world, especially in countries where tech are much more expensive like Brazil. These consoles stand out not only for their nostalgia, but also for their practicality. They genuinely fit in your pocket, offer solid battery life, and are easy to use. 7. Competition from premium handheld devices. Meanwhile, devices like the Steam Deck and ROG Ally offer premium experiences, with enough power to run modern titles like Cyberpunk 2077 and Elden Ring. These devices promise to be the future of handheld gaming. However, there are some issues. Their high prices, which can exceed $800 for certain models, and their size, which makes them less practical as true handhelds. They are more like compact PCs than replacements for classic handhelds. The handheld market has changed but hasn't disappeared. While major companies have shifted their focus, retro handheld devices from Chinese manufacturers have filled the gap, while premium devices like the Steam Deck or ROG Ally attempt to capture hardcore gamers. What does the future hold? Is there still room for a new proprietary compact handheld console? Or have retro devices and hybrids already taken over the segment? Let me know your favorite handheld console, or a memory you had on childhood related to that and what you hope to see in the future of this segment.